One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to bring up a lagging body part is they just add more volume, more training, more exercise. Now, I know you've heard that's how you bring up a lagging body part, but here's a mistake people make. They don't borrow volume from other body parts. They just add volume to the workouts. There's a total amount of volume that your body can handle. Don't just throw more on top of it. You have to borrow some for body parts you don't feel like you need to focus on, and then use that for the body parts that you need to focus on. That's how this works. If you just add a bunch more training to your already big workout, you're just going to overtrain, and not only will you not develop the lagging body part, but things start to go backwards. This one took me forever to figure out. I didn't realize that. I always thought it was like the total amount of volume that a body part could take. So like if you look at the studies on ideal training volume for a body part, there's a lot of things that you have to consider when looking at this. So I'm going to overgeneralize it, right? Because like the type of exercise makes a difference, and the body part itself and all that stuff, and of course the individual. But it's something like between 6 to, on the high end, 18 or 20 sets a week per body part. And so that's what I would consider. Like, oh, it's just I can add more volume to this one body part. But I didn't consider that I was already kind of pushing the limit with my overall training. So when I just added more volume, I just tipped my body into doing too much, and then I got nothing. The reality is you have to borrow volume from one area, give it to the area you want to develop, and then you'll see that lagging body part start to pick up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really consider that, because like you just think of it as I need more exercises to incorporate so that way I can bring up this body part that I'm trying to work on, when in fact too a lot of the compound exercises you don't really account for some of that volume too that you're also using, which then now we're just our overall volume goes a lot more, and you tend to then overtrain pretty easily after that.
Yeah. I'm pretty convinced I was stuck in this place for a good 4 or 5 years of my training.
Yeah,
at least 4 or 5 years.
That's not bad. Mine was longer.
and I don't even think I don't even think I thought about it the way you explained it. Like I don't even think I really understood how to track volume or even cared to pay attention to that until much later in my lifting career. I just assumed that the more work I put in the gym, the more results I would get, which I do. Better. I do think that a lot of people fall into this trap. I think that they do think that because again, and I've said this so many times, that I think so many other things in our life, the more effort, the more work you put into it, the more you get out of it.
It's generally true.
It is
until it's not.
It is generally true. Except for in this case, in pursuit of building muscle, it's a science, and there's a right amount. And there's an optimal amount, and then there's a totally wrong amount. And I think I flirted with that for so long that I probably had a good 4 or 5 years there where really stalled progress because I was just overtraining my body consistently, hammering it, and not allowing it to really grow and build.
No, this is probably, besides the obvious like workout programming, diet, that kind of stuff, this is probably the biggest hurdle or roadblock that people have to developing lagging body parts. By the way, just a little side note, athletes do this all the time as well. Even though they don't train a lagging body part, they'll try to train a lagging part of their performance, and rather than reduce training in other areas, they just add more stuff. Like, oh, I need more plyometrics, add more. Oh, I need more lateral strength. I'm just going to add that on top. I need more speed. I need more endurance.
Whatever.
Yeah, so athletes do this as well, where we just think we just add more. But anyway, this is a big roadblock because people don't realize. First off, I think this was me at least. Well, if I take training away from that body part, then that body part's going to start to lag too, and I don't want to do that. So I have to kind of trade one for the other type of deal. But this might help you out with that if that's what you're thinking. The amount of training that you need to build a muscle group is way more than the amount of training you need to keep it where it's at. So even if you borrow volume, let's say you're working out and your quads develop really well, but your hamstrings lag. You're like, okay, I heard this on Mind Pump. I'm going to borrow some volume from my quads. So I'm going to take away 5 sets of quad exercises and now add 5 sets to hamstrings. Your quads aren't going to shrink. Very little is required to maintain what you've built. So you're not going to go backwards in one area because you've taken volume away from it. However, you will start to see the growth happen in those lagging areas. If you do this right, I think if you do this right, everybody watching and listening to this, you will see better results on that quote unquote weak body part than you've ever seen. But you have to borrow from those other areas. You can't just slap some on. And again, a big reason for this is most of us, especially people who train consistently, we're already kind of pushing the limit anyway. So extra, 6 sets a week or 10 sets a week now just tips you over into doing more than your body can adapt from. And then not only do you not develop the lagging body part, but now you plateau across the board and you tend to fry yourself. So,
not to mention symmetry trumps size.
Also,
and even for the guy who's in pursuit of the size.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny when I laid off of all the training volume I did on my arms, because that was like my thing when I was a kid, and decided to put focus on my shoulders. That was an area that I neglected. I did lose some size on my arms, but everybody thought it was the opposite. Oh my God, you look so much bigger. And I'm like, I'm measuring. I know I'm not. I'm gone down. And so, but the symmetry and the shoulders to the arms and the ratio makes it look to the eye like you're bigger or more muscular, which is what most of us that are chasing that I want to be bigger are pursuing. And if you just knew that focusing more on the symmetry aspect will give you that look that you think you are, versus being so hung up on, oh, my biceps are 19 inches. I'm chasing 20 inches. It's like, well, if you actually lost an inch in your arms, but then had more balance and symmetry within the shoulders, you'll get the look that you're chasing. It's not like the number you're chasing is irrelevant.
You don't walk around with the
Otherwise, you just get like a long ham hock, like I got, you get all the size, but no definition, just a big meat.
Just a sep.
Yeah.
Bicep, tricep, we don't know. It's just a step. No, it's a good thing to talk about because it's a huge mistake. I've seen people's training, and again, they just add, and then going back to athletes, when I would train endurance athletes, because there was a point there where endurance athletes started to get the message that some strength training was beneficial, right? For a while there, people stuck in their silos. But then I'd say probably about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, the message started coming out to runners and cyclists and triathletes. Like, hey, if you do some strength training, you'll do better at your endurance sport. And so I start to see these clients that were coming in that want to hire me for strength training for their sport. And I would have to tell them, well, we can't just add strength training. We have to take something away from your current training. Otherwise, I'm just going to overtrain you, even with very little strength training. And some of them had such a tough time with this that I actually had clients that would lie to me. They would actually lie about the amount of training they were doing because they didn't want me to, they wanted me to continue strength training with them. But then when they finally came around, it was like they get these great results. But yeah, athletes do this with
athletes. It's so common.
Yes.
I'm always trying to voice this because that's the common thought is like, well, I have to get stronger, so I want to add all these workouts in where I'm weight training. But they didn't cut out any of their practice on those days either, where they're doing all of their drills, all of their skills, all their running. Like they just combo it now with weight training now in front of that. And it's like, they don't realize how overtaxed their system's going to be from that, and like how much more optimal it would be if we now move some of that skill specific training to another day where they can focus on that, and then we can get the benefits of the strength. We have to leave that sort of separate.
Do you think, Justin, we've come a long ways though in sports training, or do you think we're still stuck? I mean, I feel like we've evolved. Like when you
I go back and forth.
Because like when you see things like the LeBron James, like what he's doing at his age, his size.
I would imagine at those levels we've progressed somewhat, right?
Yeah, I think he's like an outlier. I mean, it's good that he's an example of that, or like your Tom Brady's and
yes, another example.
Super athletes that are like into more of recovery and really like emphasizing that, but I just don't feel like there's enough coaches out there that have really grabbed onto that concept. There's still very much like work, and more work on top of that is going to equal better athletes.
Today's giveaway on YouTube is Maps Anabolic. To enter to win, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Then you also want to subscribe to this channel, and you also want to turn on notifications. If you do all those things, and if you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. Also, we have a sale this month. Maps Split is half off. And the Sexy Athlete bundle of workout programs is also half off. If you're interested, click on the link at the top of the description below. All right, back to the show. Speaking of more work and sports and stuff, I know, Adam, we all took a break. We were all off for about a week, and I know you were like putting a lot of work into practicing your golf game.
Oh, fuck, bro.
What kind of? Are we seeing any improvements in the?
Yeah, give us an update.
I don't think there's ever been a sport that I've attempted to play that I hate as much as I fucking hate golf. I fucking hate that sport. I really do. We played 2 days while I was up there.
Dang.
And the second
and you're not the kind of guy that just goes. I mean, you try to get better. That's not your.
That's
personality.
everything, right?
That is the part about golf that I hate so much. That is so frustrating to me, is because there's nothing I've ever tried to play in my life where by this time the amount of hours that I've put into practicing and playing that I wouldn't at least consider myself competitive. You know, like maybe I'm not great. You know, there's lots of sports I play that I'm not great at, but I'm good at. Like if I put X amount of hours into, and name the sport, as weird and obscure as it may be, if you taught me it and I put a certain amount of hours in, by that time I would go.
Someone could tell, like, oh, you've been playing.
Oh, I can play. Yeah. You know, and I can at least, even if I'm playing someone who's really good, I could make it fun and competitive. It would not like you're playing a 3-year-old child, right? So, but that's how I feel like out on the golf course. It's just so unbelievable. You
said you got worse.
Oh, I did. So last year,
off air, I was dying.
I
can totally empathize with this.
I really hate it, and I only do it because my 2 best friends, my childhood best friends that are like family to me, absolutely love the sport and have fully embraced it for the last 2 decades. And I was like, I was resistant for so long to play, and you know, I'd always tease them, we're too young to play. Like I'm, snowboarding and wakeboarding, and I'm doing basketball. I'm still doing all these other sports. Like I don't want to retire yet and play golf, But literally they like to play so much that if we all have families and kids and stuff like that. And so, if they get a day off, like they want to go golf. And if I want to hang out with my best friends, like I'm golfing, and I have a really hard time not being competitive about anything that I do that's a sport. Yeah. And so I've really tried doing it like, okay, I'm going to get better at this and play more. And last year, the big joke was that I had been playing with these TaylorMades that I had purchased, I don't know, a decade ago that, they were off the shelf clubs. And I never had somebody size me, like go to an actual pro, have him watch my swing, make adjustments, and go, oh, you should have a club length of this, and this type of club should be good. Well, so I did that last year. So I went and spent whatever the hell it cost to do that, which is not a cheap sport to do all this dumb stuff. And I get it all sized and,
so bad.
And I go all out, like I'm getting really, really nice clubs. And so I get these Titleist clubs that are really nice sized and supposed to be at my level and help me out. And so I at the end of the season, I bought them last year. So this is my first time taking them out to go play. And I kind of knew that it was going to be rough by when you get out to the driving range and warm up. And I'm like, I'm practicing, right? And I'm looking at my buddy and I'm like, I feel worse today than I did the very first time I ever touched a fucking golf club. How is that possible? How is it possible that I just spent an hour playing right now and I feel worse than the first time someone handed me a club and it felt so foreign I didn't even know how to hold it. That's how. And then I got out and I shot and we played, and I'm at a level of golf like when people are, oh, how do you play or what do you shoot? I'm like, how I play? Like I try and lose as little balls as possible. I don't keep score.
That's the score.
Because if I keep score, I just get angry. So I don't even keep score. It's just, hey, can I play this round and lose less than 10 balls? That's a win, right? So that's how I gauge like a good round of golf. And so the first round of golf, I lost less than 10 balls.
Now these are old friends of yours from childhood,
elementary school.
Are they kind?
Oh yeah,
Are they talking shit?
No. See, my buddies, even though we're all like they're just like you
but
guys.
But at some point, they know you're.
Yes, they want me to play.
So they're just not going to.
So they are trying to
encourage you.
Yeah, exactly. The opposite
worse.
of how we would be.
That's even worse.
The opposite of how we would all be with each other. That's where they're at. Like they know
I'm on your back.
They know at any minute I'm on the verge of just fucking snapping these clubs, walking away, and saying like I'm never doing this again. Right. So they know I'm there, and so they're always. Which, by the way, too, your point, it is worse.
Yeah.
Especially with golf, because golf, it's like
because you know what's happening.
Hey, hold your wrist like this, and you got to follow through like that.
The guy comes behind you and just like, just tap it in.
It's such a the sport, the mechanics in golf have to be some of the most what's the word? I'm acute or
It's
fine.
technical as hell.
Yes,
Yeah.
like the slightest bit of your thumb rolling over or turning the wrist
changes the trajectory.
Yeah, and that tiny you use the analogy all the time of like 1 inch right here, and it's like
you go down the distance.
That's like golf, like you're off the tiniest bit, and it makes this huge difference.
And plus, those balls move so much through the air. You ever watch the physics of a golf ball? So crazy.
So have you tried like having drinks or like doing something where you can relax?
So I have to do that. I have to get high. I have to drink. I have to do
That's
all
the only
the
way I can play.
Yeah, I have to be on social media. I have to just totally not care to actually somewhat enjoy.
It's the only sport like that. I
But
swear.
it's like it's so frustrating for me that I can't. We did have a stretch of maybe I think 2 holes I got where. I looked over at my book because I bitched the whole time. I told them I fucking hate this thing. The only reason why I do this is because I want to hang out with you guys and like, dude, I'm just a bear, bro. I'm just an absolute bear to be out there with because I'm not enjoying myself at all. And we actually had a hole or two where, I still didn't shoot good, but what I was able to do, which is I had this moment. I go, I said, I could see if this was what a round was like, I could start to somewhat like this. And that is, we all drive, hit off the tee, and then we drive to my ball, then we drive to his ball, and then we hit again, and then we drive to the ball again. Yeah. But it doesn't look like that. What it looks like is, normally for when I'm playing, it looks like this, like, okay, drops me off in the fucking weeds. Go find your ball.
See you later.
See you later. I'll get mine. I'm saying? I'm fucking hacking my way out of there, which takes 4 or 5 shots. So now I'm already 2 over par. I'm not even on the fucking green yet, so I'm just... So that's what it's like. It's like, man, I wouldn't mind if I could sit in the cart, watch you take your swing, then we drive over to my ball, then we hit his swing, and we just kind of play this back and forth thing. But that's not what it looks like. It looks like, let me grab my 3 clubs, go take a hike out into the trees and hack my way out. It's just...
The biggest question is, though, do you think you could beat Biden?
Hey, that's so funny.
I heard his golf game's on point.
I was just thinking that they treat you like Biden's wife treated him at the end. Did you see what she said to him at the end of that debate?
Oh,
you
dude.
did so good.
So good.
You answered all the questions. She literally said that. I'm like, oh my god,
you're gonna get a snack.
That's
I missed that. I couldn't hang into that debate very long. I tried to watch it.
I
watched maybe half of it.
I didn't even care to talk about the debate, but what is interesting, and I hope people see this. I really, really, really hope people see the insanity of politics.
Yes.
That now you have clearly what you have is everybody in the media turning on Biden and talking about how he's got dementia when
like we weren't aware of this.
Everybody's known this. They've all known this for a long time. They were covering for him.
So let me get your theory on what we just watched unfold. So your theory is, first of all, the Democrats pushed to have the debate up.
They wanted it early.
Yeah. And the theory is that they wanted it early so that the media, both sides, could turn on Biden. So basically CNN now turning on Biden and saying that, oh my God, he looks like he has dementia. And so now the consensus would be he's not fit for office. Then now gives the Democrats an opportunity to slide somebody else in and still give them enough time to actually run a legitimate campaign.
That's right.
That's your opinion.
He was clearly sacrificed 100%. He was put out there. He did what he does, which, by the way, everybody knows. Our media, for some reason, was covering for him for a long time, but it was clear. You could see other countries' media would report on him, make fun of him, and stuff like that. If you're right winger, you will see the clips because they're shared among the people who are on that side. But it was obvious that now they flipped on him. So now the script is, okay, he's out. We need to replace him. So now everybody talk about how shitty he is. Everybody talk about how he can't run the country, how this is scary, and how we need to replace him. So that's the game now. But I hope people see through this, like through all the politics. Like, here's what they do: they know who they want. They have their game plan, and then they just manipulate people to get there. And if you were a supporter before, I would be so mad. I'd be like,
I know.
Literally, there's clips like, weeks ago of
let the guy retire, man.
There are clips that are like weeks old of left-wing pundits who are like, he's the sharpest he's ever been. He's super smart. He's on it. God. And then those same people are like, oh God, we got to
insano lies.
They knew it. They knew it was so crazy. It's so weird. But yeah, the debate itself is like, by the way, every 4 years, can I just say this? I'm 45, so I've seen now a few of these. For anybody who's young watching this, don't fall for this. This is every 4 years. This is the most important election in history or whatever. Always. They always say that. And they always say if you vote for the wrong guy, the world's going to end.
Yeah.
It's the same thing every 4 years. It's a terrible game.
I couldn't hang in there because I watched probably 4 or 5 questions in a row that never once did they get answered. And I just got irritated. I was just like, and that included on Trump, right? Trump was, I felt like the whole time talking about how he's the best at everything that he did, right? It was just like, the greatest. It was the greatest
economy ever.
Everything was the greatest.
It's never been the best.
Yeah,
Ronald Reagan
everything
said
was
it
the greatest. And then Biden was saying the opposite, No, it's the worst. You've destroyed everything. It was like, that's all it was. It was literally, and like
just kicking sand at
the
each
moderator
other.
would ask a question and then it would go into that for the next, I don't know how many minutes. And then you'd be like, is anybody going to address the question?
Because the debate doesn't move.
That's not what it was about.
The debate, the debate doesn't move the needle. It's the sound bites and clips of the debate that move the needle. So now the game is, when you do the debate, is not to answer the questions the best way. The game is, can I make a 10-second short
zinger.
clip?
Who can say a zinger that will go viral?
Because that's what it, and it's unfortunately it's
viral. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's true. Like when I talk about the debate that Trump did with Hillary,
that was a great debate, by the way.
Okay, but
that's the only one I ever liked.
There was a couple zingers that he did that really pushed him over, right? Like, you'd be in jail if I were president or whatever. And he had one with Biden, right, where Biden said something, he mumbled at the end, and he goes, "I don't even think he
knows what he said."
Which he didn't, because he didn't try to say anything after that. It was so crazy. Yeah,
there's some elder abuse going on. It makes you wonder who's running things. It's been like this for a while.
I mean, but did we
he
ever
ain't running shit?
Did we ever think the president's really running everything? I mean, do you ever believe that?
I don't. But now I think it's so clear. It's
more
a bit
obvious
scary.
now. Yeah.
It's a bit scary, right? Like who's pulling the strings and what's going on?
I mean, I'm convinced that they're homies behind the scenes, and they all they've like they. I mean, if I believe it's more like the WWE.
Yes, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
what a great analogy.
It is. Like the script
it's a narrative. Yeah.
All right, you're the heel.
Yeah. And and you can't, I'm not going to offend anyone and say it's not real. It's real. You know, it's really happening.
They're still throwing each other.
Yeah, exactly. They're still throwing each other. There's still some shit that's going down, but the script has been written. And I really feel like it's WWE, and then there's people who really are bought in and think it's really real.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
my
it's not
kids really wanted
real.
to watch it. I didn't want to watch it because I knew it was going to happen. It was just going to be just lame and you weren't going to get anything out of it. But they were just really curious as to what they were going to have to say about all these like different topics and stuff. And so we ended up watching that. And then we watched the RFK version, which I guess live streamed on X.
And he got way more views.
So I wanted to find out about that because it was unclear. I saw somewhere that he got like 6 million views, which was insane, which I hope that's the case only because not that I'm like voting for him or anything, but it was just nice to hear somebody with like articulate points. And he was just kind of countering a bit of what both Trump and Biden were saying, like on his own stage and his own moderator.
So what did they do? I don't understand. I didn't see that. So what?
He did his own debate
by himself.
They didn't let him. They didn't let him on stage with.
They won't.
Trump and Biden. So he had his own studio that basically.
So why is he not? I'm not up to speed.
He didn't win because
primaries are over.
Yeah, for the Democrats it's Biden, right? So
he's running independent.
He's running as an independent, and in both parties never let in independent. They never let another party come in. They both.
But wait, I thought that isn't that how Trump originally went in? Because Trump ran independent originally.
No, he ran as a Republican.
Oh, he said he was going to go independent, and then the Republican Party took him.
Yeah.
Was threatening that, but
okay.
The last time,
like Ross Perot,
so I didn't know
that was the last time somebody actually had like the main stage with the two parties, and they'll never let that happen again.
Yeah,
because both they blame him for I forgot what's his name losing for that or whatever, and it's a scary thing because if you have a third party, they could take votes away from either side. And so it becomes another factor you have to manage and watch. And they can also cause a lot of damage. Imagine RFK on that stage while Trump is not answering the questions, talking about how awesome he is, Biden forgetting,
where he is,
where he's at. Yeah. And now RFK's answering the questions and highlighting, like, here's what's,
Yeah.
It would look bad.
It would look real bad.
It would
for
look
both of
really
them.
bad.
I mean, for them, it would look really bad, but it would fucking be good.
I know.
It'd be a positive thing.
I
You know
know.
what I'm
I'd be
saying?
out for it.
That's who loses in this always, by the way. It's
Us.
not either one of them. It's us it's the people
Yeah,
that lose. You know what I'm saying? It's like
we are losing on the
people
world
always talk,
stage.
oh, Trump lost. Oh, Biden lost. Like, nah, neither one of them lost.
Dude,
Again,
I got to bring something up to you. Adam. You've used, so I've never experienced the GHK-CU peptide. I wanted to ask you about, you said it hurts when you.
I'm not a fan of it.
Okay. So we had some, Jessica was going to use it for skin. It's supposed to be really good for skin.
It is that.
So trip off this. We had my niece and nephew with us all week while we were, while we were off or whatever. And we've been out, as you could tell, it's almost the same color as this chair. Got really dark because we were out in the sun all day, right? Well, one of the days we were out in the sun and I was out there, no sunscreen, and I was out there all day. And yes, I can get dark, but I can also sunburn if I push it too hard. Well, anyway, I came home and I definitely was starting to get a sunburn on my head, on my forehead and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I said, let me try the GHK. Gone. The next day, sunburn's gone.
Really?
Have you ever read about how it works on healing the skin?
No, I just know that when I went and did my
it is crazy
stem cell stuff,
like
that's what they gave me for my psoriasis to help, and it just was it burned.
It does.
It burns.
You know why? Because it's like signaling damage, I think is what it is.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
I mean, I started to, so I think I ended up putting double the water in there that you're supposed to water it down a little bit, and that helped. That helped, but I'm not good with as minimal amount of pills and injections I have. It's like I don't do very well.
I'll get back to peptides because I want to bring something else up. But before I do that, you know what I did during the day? So we were kind of staying up late because we have visitors, but then I still wake up early. If you have little kids, like it don't matter what time you go to bed, they wake up at the same time. I always think they're going to sleep in.
No.
I always think my 3-year-old's going to sleep in because you went to bed late. No, he wakes up at the same fucking
Same time, always.
Every day. So anyway, I'm a little, I'm kind of tired, but I want to have energy because niece and nephew are both teenagers. Plus I got my teenage daughter with us and and I got to be careful with caffeine. If I push it too hard, I feel like garbage. So I was using Ned's Brain Blend every single day.
Yeah.
Really, really, man, it's, they killed it with that. Just a nice energy.
The one that
I
we
was
have over
using
there.
that too over there. Yeah, my
actually.
vacation.
A nice, clean, euphoric feeling all day long. You want some?
Yeah, I will take some of this since you brought it up.
Oh yeah, this one still has some. If you put it next to Justin, it'll be gone.
Yeah, it'll be gone.
Did you already
I
crush
need
all
of
that?
it.
He loves them.
Oh my God, you guys
I
did
drink
crush
it,
all that
like,
already.
Yeah. All right, so back to peptides. I got to bring something up. So we've talked about now this group that we're going to coach who are going to be, these are people who are using a GLP-1 agonist like a semaglutide or tirzepatide. And we're not going to coach them on the peptides. We're not doctors. That's not what we're doing. We're going to coach them on exercise, nutrition, how to modify behaviors while having the assistance of this intervention type of deal.
Sure.
And so we did an episode talking about this. And we also talked about how we are going to get ahead of the curve with with workout programming and what it would look like for people like this. Well, anyway, that episode went up. And I often will check the comments to see feedback and stuff. And I'll read you guys a comment. And I want to address, because there were a couple that, this was the worst one. This was the worst comment.
You know what's funny about, and we don't, this organically happens, where I haven't been on YouTube comments since the last time I brought it up because it annoys me. And so I'll intentionally go away from them for a long time. But it seems as though we all take turns.
We take turns. Mine was Reddit not too long ago. And I was like, why did I get on this?
I won't even
need to read this.
I won't even touch Reddit. But anyway, so here's one comment. There were people that were saying, now this was the worst one, but it says, Mind Pump now cashing in on Ozempic. LOL. Wow. What a sellout move. MAPS Ozempic is a thing now. Shaking my head. Okay. So here's what I want to communicate to, especially to the fitness professionals, trainers and coaches, health professionals. I don't think I need to communicate this because on the other side, but the fitness people, here's why the fitness industry, one reason why the fitness industry has not helped the obesity epidemic, why it's not helped people's health. If you look at the fitness industry growth, it's exploded right alongside the explosion of poor health, in large part because trainers, coaches, gyms, and the fitness industry at large does a shit job. I hate to tell you guys, you suck. You suck so bad that you just don't help people. In fact, you turn people off half the time, unless they become a fitness fanatic like you, in which case it's totally different. And here's a great example. Here we have a medical intervention that definitely has some strong effects in terms of weight loss. And so what you have in the fitness industry are people who are zealots. This is what I hate. They get on this side where they're like, no, nothing, pharmaceutical, nothing medical. It has to be perfect. It has to be this exact way. And what you're doing is you're going to destroy yourself. You're going to be left in the dust. Instead, what you should do is realize the inevitable, which is they're not going anywhere. Right. People are going to use them because they work. Now, they don't answer everything. They're not the perfect solution. By far, they're not the perfect solution. So what you need to do is get ahead of it and say, okay, people are going to use these anyway. How can I work with people who are going to use these anyway in a way to get them to what I would consider to be the right way to exercise, diet, the right way to be healthy? How can I use this as a bridge, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get ahead of it and communicate this in responsible ways, because if we sit with our heads in the sand, right, then we're not going to reach the people who are unreachable. Yeah. These are the unreachables.
Yeah, we're not supposed to go out there and try to help people that actually need help. We should just stay, on our perfect little island where we're doing everything right, and hope that they come find us. Yeah. Instead. No, we're putting this out there to help people that are in need, that are choosing that decision themselves to kind of intervene. But now all we're trying to do is really like supply them with some guidance in terms of quality fitness training and weight training and nutrition guidance to at least support them in their efforts to get back on their feet. So that way, maybe we could see them in the gym in consistency and get them on track to live a healthier life.
So you guys address the moral side of this and our integrity when it comes to
business.
I am going to go business and slap this person.
Here we go.
Well, this you're an idiot if you think this is cashing in. So first of all, let me explain how this business works with programs every year. We write 4 a year, 1 a quarter. We plan those out a year in advance. We sell thousands and thousands of programs every time that we launch a program. When we do specific programs, for example, like GLP-1 or for OCR racing, these do terrible financially for us. They are not, it's not for the general population. Each person listening to this right now might know a person who is on GLP-1s. There's a lot more people that are working out that And so it is not in our best interest financially to put out a program as specific as GLP-1s. It's 100% in the tension. We pivoted from what we originally had. So, and if you want to know, whoever's asking this, what those numbers look like, I'll show you what a normal program, the program that we would have actually launched at this time, what it would have done for us financially and what this one will do. I guarantee that this doesn't even do half of what that launch would have been on the last program that we just did. And I'll show you those if you're asking and you think it's a cashing in. So in fact, it'll actually hurt us financially in comparison to what we would have launched. So that's just, I appreciate the integrity and the moral direction that you went, but I think it's so hilarious when somebody makes comments like that doesn't understand anything. Well, obviously, this person doesn't understand anything about business.
We have a responsibility, and I don't say we like us in this room, although we do, but us in the fitness and health space, we have a responsibility to create the narrative around and strengthen the narrative around GLP-1s. Because here's the competing narrative. Here's what may happen, because the abuse potential is high.
Yeah.
The narrative may, and it's already turning into this. This is the problem. It's already here. Just take this. That's the narrative.
And then what?
Here, take this forever.
They got nothing.
Okay, and then you're fine. No, the narrative needs to be, okay, you're going to use this, and it can help in these ways. Here's how you need to exercise, which, by the way, for anybody who's curious, your workouts are going to be different on a GLP-1 for many, many different factors. They need to be. Number two, here's how we can start working and modifying behavior so that maybe potentially you go off this thing, or maybe you just use it in cycles. So you're not dependent on a medical intervention for the rest of your life. Here's what it looks like when you come off. Here are some of the challenges you're going to have, and here's what coaching will look like for you. That's the narrative that's what we need to do as fitness professionals, is move ahead of it before this just becomes a thing everybody does, and then they end up suffering potential negatives. You see abuse potential, and nobody's really changing their behaviors in real fundamental ways to improve their health. They're just losing weight, which sure has some benefit, but boy, are we missing. Well, that's the tip of the iceberg for what we can potentially do. So that's the important thing to understand, and the fact that we're listened to more than any other fitness and health podcasts in the world. It's like we met and we're like, we need to get ahead of this. This is a tsunami.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop the tsunami. So let's get a surfboard and ride it and make sure we teach people how to do the same thing so that they don't crash and burn, so they don't hurt themselves.
I got a great transition from this, actually, though. If you want to talk about somebody who's cashing in on a big hustle, so there's this preacher down in Mexico, I guess, that is selling plots of land in heaven for $100.
What?
A square foot.
Stop it.
Stop
it. That's not real.
No, and he got a vision from God, and it was like,
Shut up.
I need to do this.
Is it done on NFTs? Is it like is it done on the
It's pretty much just, I mean, obviously this is in the heavenly space. So it's past digital.
Stop it.
Yeah.
What
I was
piece
like,
of shit.
wow, like that's the ultimate I want to say like timeshare kind of scam, but like, man,
Please pull this up.
To
I wanna
prey
read-
off
I
of
wanna read an
people's,
article.
Yeah, that's 100% margin.
Right.
yeah, I know. 100%.
Pure profit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you got to give him credit for how original that is. I mean, that's pretty original.
You know
right
what's
there.
Like, move over. I got the idea.
I thought the internet was going to make us smarter. All it did was
you have
it
to pull
allows
that up.
idiots like this to connect.
You
with-
have to pull it up. I want to see the
with
article
suckers.
on this.
Yeah.
He can't be selling. Do you think people are actually buying it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
course someone's buying it, dude.
because think
No
about the
way.
kind of power like people give to, especially if it's
$100
in
per square meter.
square meter. Excuse me.
A church in Mexico is helping people prep for the eternity, selling plots of land in heaven. According to the pastor, he claims to have received permission from God. The church is offering heavenly real estate for the simple price of $100 per meter. Oh my
Listen,
God,
the
bro.
guy had a vision. God confirmed it. So that's all the church body needs sometimes.
Oh my
How do you
God.
get away
I
with
mean,
that?
you see that in cults like all over the place.
I
How do you
would
get
love
away
to
with that?
follow that and to see like how that goes. That is hilarious.
I mean, and like what? I mean, I would better have luxury property up there, at that kind of price.
Right.
So
It doesn't even make sense, even if you thought it was real. Isn't it infinite?
Yeah.
Why would I need to buy property?
who's to say that's even land?
Yeah,
you
but
know, what if
want-
there's just
space
floating
on
on
clouds.
clouds?
enough space
you
for
want
everyone.
oceanfront though, don't you?
Isn't it? It's heaven. Isn't it all?
I thought I had gold,
Starfront? You want Starfront? You know what I'm
Isn't it
saying?
all amazing?
gold walls, and
Oh God, that's hilarious.
I mean,
I
you
would
haven't even
love to
talked
see
about hiring a contractor.
Well,
up there
since
yet.
you went plots of land, okay, I have the transition for that. So, did you guys see the founder of Oakley just listed his $68 million mansion in Beverly Hills? Have you guys
No.
seen it? Check out this mansion. Doug, pull up
Beverly Hills?
Oakley founder lists mansion for sale. $68 million, I believe, is what it is. This is
And,
cool.
and you said it's where?
Let's
LA?
see who likes this. Like, I like this house. Let's see if you guys like
Okay.
this house.
Oh, it must be different.
Oh, it's very different. It's very, very different. Very Iron Man-esque. Get me a picture.
Iron
guys.
Man.
Oh, so it's kind of like that.
Concrete.
It's called
modern-
the Brutalist. It's a Brutalist.
He's got a
estate.
name for it. Look at this thing.
Oh,
what?
Looks like the Pentagon a little bit. you
Oh
know?
my God, it does look like
No,
a government
bro,
building.
that's
or
so
something.
uncomfortable.
That's sick.
No way.
Look
no,
at that.
dude, it's cold.
That is
That's like
sick.
cold and like
It's yeah.
no, dude.
That is sick.
It's very institutional.
Yes.
kind of feel.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable in that at all.
Yeah.
Imagine the echo in that.
I mean, it's like a
What do you think, Doug?
compound, right?
Is he a former inmate or something? I mean, it
I
looks
don't
like
know.
prison.
I don't know, right?
it's like the Soviet Union designed it.
Selling for 68
Yeah,
million.
not my style.
Oh, I would rock
It's got to
it.
feel comfortable.
I like it. I do like it.
You think your kid would like it? Would Max be like, "This is cool"?
Max, I don't know if he would like it.
If you
I
put
mean,
Mario in there,
I mean, there's a big, it's
all
big
concrete.
enough. I could probably make a Mario land inside there
Yeah,
somewhere
dude.
and make him happy. You know what I'm saying?
He'll
I'm
have a
sure,
blast.
sure I could figure a way
dude,
out.
I got to tell you
Wow.
about. So you just brought up kids. My daughters have this thing. I got a 14-year-old and I have a 1.5-year-old. And my 14-year-old does this. She's done this forever. Where the way she'll hug me sometimes, but the way she shows affection when she wants to like be affectionate with me is she gets like. She's like rough with me. She'll like hit me or punch me or like, want to mess with me. She gets all aggressive, right? And my 1.5-year-old does the same damn thing.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I'll pick her up and if she does this thing, so I'll get her from her nap sometimes or whatever. And she'll look at me and she goes, "Papa." And then she reaches real gently and then rips my face. She squeezes as hard as she can, rips, scratches me. And I'm like, "Dahlia, stop."
Ow.
Yeah, and then she laughs and then smack. And I'm like, "Stop, don't do that." And then I'll start kind of holding her away, and then she'll try to bite my arm, and she laughs. And she just thinks this is the funniest thing ever.
Wow.
And I looked at my 14-year-old, I'm like, "Did you teach her this? Why are my daughters so violent with me, dude? What's going on here?"
funny.
It's hilarious. I did show my 14-year-old what time it was though, because she kept doing that, kept messing with me, and I like I said, I have my niece and nephew there. So I said, so she was on the couch. So I just went over to her and I slowly just laid down on her. Oh my God, bro. She couldn't move. She was pinned underneath me. Yeah. I'm like, what would you do if I just passed out? If I just like, you wouldn't be able to save me. You can't move. You can't do anything. She's
That's
like,
funny. She's takes it out on you, huh?
Just, I know. And I mean, she'll bite me. My little girl will just bite me while she's running around.
We had the week up in Truckee, and Max was up there with my best friend is Max's best friend, right? So his son is a year older than Max, and they're like inseparable, and their personalities match really well because he's like very like dominant, strong. I want to do this. We're going to do that. Tells Max what to do. And Max is like so easy.
Chill.
Yeah. Chill, easygoing. And so it's actually really cool to see them play together, and they play all day. But you could also tell my son, like, he's so funny. Like, it's 7 days. These kids are together nonstop, 24/7. And even though they're the best of friends and they're playing well together, like he'll come over and you can see he's like kind of crying. Mommy, Hunter wants this. We'll tell him you just need a break, son. If you don't want to do that anymore, just say, I need a break. And so the rest of the trip, like, there'd be these times in the day where Hunter would come over and be like, Max said he needs a break. How long is it going to be? He said he took a break earlier. He's going to take another break. Like, and he's like crying because my son will tell him like, I need a break.
Yeah.
So he tells him he needs a break. I need some alone time. And then he walks away from him. And my buddy's poor son, he just wants to play, but Max is like over it because he's like,
but they're not fighting?
Oh my god!
No, they get
at least they don't fight.
It's like you said, their personalities, they match so well that Max is so easygoing. What it will lead to sometimes is Max will cry because he doesn't want to play what Hunter wants to play, and Hunter is so dominant about like, we're gonna play that, we're gonna play this, and he'll go along for most of the part, and then eventually what'll happen is there's something that my son really doesn't want to do, or he's tired of it. And then he'll normally come over to Katrina and I, and he'll be like, pouting, and Katrina will be like, don't cry, just tell him. Tell him you don't want to play, and tell him that you're whatever. I don't want to do that. And, well, he doesn't want to do what I want to do. Okay, well then just tell him you're going to do your own thing. Like, and so he'd do that.
My 3-year-old and my brother's 3-year-old fight. That's what they play and they fight, and they play and they fight, and the fighting gets violent, man. They'll throw something.
Yeah, see, I imagine that's what happens when you get two similar personalities of kids that are both like aggressive and
going for the same thing.
That's why my son and him, they match so well because
and they'll hold a grudge. Like one of them will do something, will intervene, and then we'll separate them. And it's been like 15 minutes separated, and you think they're chill, and then one of them will walk over calmly and then blast them. Oh god, here we go.
Oh,
it's
back
funny again, dude.
Speaking of like needing a break, so the first half of our vacation was like booked where we were in the same room with my kids, and it's like, so me and Courtney in the same room, no separation, no wall, nothing like.
For how long?
For like good 4 or 5 days, I think 5 days. Yeah. And for me, that's like too long. But the one in particular, this when we went to Breckenridge, we were at this hotel, and we had to kind of book it last minute, so we didn't get like, again, I was like, oh man, we don't have our own room again. And it's like, so we book it, and I didn't realize Courtney had booked. So it was 2 bunk beds in the same room. And they were queen size bunk beds. So it was like, okay, it's like we all have our own bed and we're all like sleeping in the same. I felt like I was at camp again. I'm like shooting spitballs, at my kids. And, we kind of tried to lean into it a bit and have fun with this. And they had like, it was a really cool, like unique hotel. It was very like hipster vibes, had its own like really cool coffee shop downstairs. And then it had this sick gym that was they put all their effort into like the gym and then like this coffee and restaurant, but like the rooms were really funky, dude. It was like, I was like, who does this? Who does like bunk beds all like bunked in the same
It sounds
bedroom?
like it'd be fun for a day.
For a minute.
Yeah, real cool idea. Yeah, and then you start like sleeping.
Dude, trip out though. People used to live like that, bro. No, people didn't have not that long ago. It was like a couple generations. Didn't have like a bunch of bedrooms.
Yeah,
it was like we're all in the same room, everybody. How did people have so many kids? I remember like my great grandmother or grandfather.
They're real sneaky about it. I guess.
Like 10 kids.
Yeah,
and they lived in a square, a cement square, and the donkey they would bring him in at night if it was cold. Okay, that's God. One room. I'm like, how'd you have? Okay, I get the one kid. How'd you have the other 8 kids? What'd you do? Hurry, come around the corner real quick.
Totally.
The kid's sleeping. Who cares?
So you guys were in Breckenridge.
Yeah,
I love it up there.
It was rad. That's the first time I've been there. First time I've done anything in Colorado other than Denver. So it was rad to drive through the Rockies and see. We went through like Vail and down that highway all the way till we got to Utah. And
Didn't you have like a family reunion or something like that?
Yeah, yes, we did. We did.
Whose family? Yours or hers?
My family, so my mom's side. And what's ironic about that? So I have a big family in Minnesota, but like we never see them because it's in Minnesota. And there's 7 kids, and so
young kids or your age?
There was like so there's two I believe that are older than me. One that's like my brother's age, like 2 years older than me, and then one that's even older than that, like another 4 years older than me. But another, so my cousin Jamie, he's the same age as me, so I definitely got along with him a lot more because like we had a lot more in common. And it was cool to catch up with him because it was funny because I always just got compared to him a lot. But my grandpa, he'd try and like be all competitive, like, oh, Jamie, they're huge. They're all like 6'5", 6'7". Like Jamie's like 6'7".
You're like you're still the runt of the family,
dude. It really bothers me, dude. Like, all these
you're
pictures,
not a small guy.
Like, hey. Yeah, they're huge. They're tall. Yeah, it was fun to catch up with them. It was like not planned. Like our entire idea of like being there was just like to focus on the boys and their competition. And with those competitions, you can't leave and like schedule things in between.
Yeah.
So I was like, I hope you guys can like make it and show up and like, support. And we're gonna be here and we're gonna be here at this time. We were able to do a lunch with them first, and then it turned out that like when they were competing, they had one more day. If they made it to the finals, like, Ethan would have been able to compete, but he didn't make it. And so we had that day open. And so it was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll, so they kind of like last minute, we kind of planned this get together, and it was like out in a park. But it was so funny because, and I hate to kind of put them on blast, but, I have this feeling that my aunt like put this together like on a text message, like everybody has to be here, like your cousin's here, he's never here, kind of a text, because when they showed up, everybody's just like, oh, they did not want to be there, dude. That was the vibes, and I'm like, hey guys, trying to make light of it because it was like so awkward.
Was it set at like a park or something like that?
Yeah.
When
you do those competitions, because I remember as a kid, judo competitions sometimes are like that. Like you'd show up and you'd have to wait, especially if there were multiple like different ages in the family. Like if I was going to compete, my younger brother, you had to be there all day.
Yeah.
And I remember bringing food and snacks and stuff like that was such a kind of a pain or whatever. How do you guys do that? What do you guys do? Because I wish we had the Paley Valley meat sticks, because that would come in the clutch.
We brought those. Yeah.
Okay.
We brought those, and we brought some protein bars and
so that's it, right?
You have to do like the little stuff to just keep it going, because your only option is like hot dogs, like, some of the vendors that they'll bring in.
And then you can go do flips.
Exactly. And just like sugary treats and like baked goods. And this isn't gonna work.
No.
So,
by the way, my 1-year-old loves my little violent daughter who scratches me over there. She loves the meat sticks. Loves the meat sticks.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Like if I pull one out, that's all she won't eat anything else.
I'm still a fan.
They love the jalapeno
I'm still
ones.
a fan. Yeah. See, I'm a fan of the original flavors still. I know they've tried a lot of different flavors lately, and I'm like, the jalapeno just is that, or the regular
good.
teriyaki, or the best.
I like
ones
the summer
still.
sausage. That's my favorite.
I mean, I appreciate all the other ones they've done to try it, but just not as good as the jalapeno.
Speaking of food, so I brought this up on the show now a couple times about how my gut health is just remarkably, it is the way that it used to be when I was
still
a teenager. Oh yeah, it's fixed. It's
15
fixed.
burgers later.
It's fixed. But there's a bad side to this, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
There was a natural barrier that I had to eating unhealthy. First off, you want to eat healthy. It's good for me, that kind of stuff. But then I was always reminded when I went over a little bit, because my gut would get off and I'd be messed up for a couple days. So it's always there, right? It was always there. So it kept me in line, actually much more than I thought. Now that my gut health is good, the garbage food, I feel like I'm like the pendulum's going in the other direction. We're at the boardwalk one of those days, and I'm eating corn dogs, hot dogs. I'm eating cotton candy. I'm eating all kinds of. And now here's the deal. Now I get the effects that the average person gets. So my gut doesn't get all destroyed, which was an obvious one, but I'll get inflamed.
Yeah.
I'll feel lethargic.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So I had to, Jessica and I sat down. I said, "Yeah, I gotta clean it up, dude." She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Cause I feel so inflamed."
I actually just had this conversation with a family member of mine about, because I have autoimmune, right? I have the psoriasis, and sometimes I think it's a blessing in disguise because
it's an outward reminder.
It is. And yours is even more immediate, so it probably would, which makes sense why it keeps you even tighter on the diet. Like mine's at least like this, where it's like the candy or the ice cream can go down, and I feel fine afterwards. It's the next day if I start to back-to-back days, then all of a sudden my psoriasis really starts to flare up, and then I can visually see it, feel it, everything, and it's like, damn, got to tighten it back up. So there's this like, okay, I definitely hate having it, but then there's a part of me is like, I wonder if I didn't have that, would I have a much harder time being tighter on my diet?
I'm bringing it back. I think yes. I think initially because you don't have that stark reminder, and so psychologically, I know what's happening to me psychologically, but it's hard to stop. I could feel it. But yeah, like I said, we're at the boardwalk, and Jessica's like, "Oh, you want to get a hot dog?" And I'm like, well, okay.
I think I can do it.
And I'll eat it, and I'm like, I feel okay. And then I'll keep walking. Like, corn dog, I'll get that too. Who wants candy?
What day did you go to the boardwalk?
When did we go?
I was going to ask you because we all went somewhere. Doug was in
Wednesday?
Europe. You're out in Colorado, Utah. I was up to yeah. What did you do?
Maybe Wednesday? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday last week? I don't remember what day it was.
You guys do anything else, or was that the main thing?
No, I mean we did that. We did a lot of shopping, going out to dinner because we have the little ones. It's hard to do a lot of things because my daughter takes a nap in the middle of the day, and so it's kind of demanding. But the boardwalk, it's great. So that's a great place to go during the week. On the weekend, it gets way too busy.
Oh yeah.
During the week, it's a blast. We had a great time on the rides, and my son loves arcade games, and so we did that the whole time.
My oldest now is at that age where we'll drop him off, and he hangs out with his friends.
Does he?
Like yeah, he's like, I got to pass. He goes there all the time. Yeah, he's super into that. It's like just more of a hang though, like where they walk around, check out the chicks.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember those days.
Act
dude.
cool.
Yeah, act cool, and his little mullet. Yeah.
Never actually talked to a girl.
No, yeah, exactly.
Did you see that one, dude? She was looking at me.
Yeah, she totally liked me. Did you talk to her? No.
Nah.
I didn't talk to her.
She wanted me though.
Yeah. That I forgot that the boardwalk is where they filmed a lot of movies there. That's where they filmed Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, yeah.
Yes. That was I was showing my niece and nephew that. It didn't matter because they never watched Lost Boys.
I'm trying to remember that part.
Santa Clarita. It's literally Santa Cruz. It is
murder capital of the world.
Yeah.
Vampires
in the movie. There was another movie too. Didn't they film something else there?
I'm sure there's been a handful of movies.
I'm trying to remember. Well, I know Mavericks was used for quite a few things, but yeah, they've used. I don't remember the other ones. It's like all '80s movies. Yeah. There's quite a few actually.
It's nice. They did a good job. I haven't been there in a long time. It's clean. It looks good.
I have a random fact for you guys. Since you brought up '80s, you thought of it like that.
Oh, that's the one. Us. The movie Us was filmed there.
Oh, that's right. I did hear about that.
Yeah.
80s, was Sting Police 80s or late 70s, Doug?
Police?
The song by Sting.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that was
early
late 80s. Yeah,
this is 80s. I thought it was 80s. That's why it reminded me of that. Do you know that when P. Diddy sampled that, in that that one?
I'll be watching you.
Yeah, okay, so he sampled that, right? Without permission from Sting. Elton John let Sting know that that you're entitled to money, right? For that, obviously, because he didn't get permission. You know that to this day, since then, this has been now, I don't know, probably over a decade or close to a decade. He gets $2,000 a day. Sting does for the rest of P. Diddy's life.
Wow.
Yeah.
$2,000 a day.
Wow.
For the rest of his life. That's like $5 million a year or something like that. I think the math is on that. Or maybe it's $5 million that he's up to already.
Doing nothing.
Nuts.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
And then what's even crazier is that he got P. Diddy on that. And then Travis Scott did an album called Juice WRLD where he sampled another Sting song without permission also. And so he's getting the same royalties from him.
Man, it pays to write your own shit.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody does that shit anymore.
That's crazy. That's a lot of money, dude.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
Does that actually, does that stop once?
Never, till P. Diddy dies.
Well, they didn't have a limit of the amount. So is this based off of like how much that song already generates?
It's got to be.
So that's what I don't understand.
It's got to be some kind of a settlement.
I would think only because otherwise you're going to bankrupt P. Diddy and then, there's no end to it. Like in terms of like a cap,
Yeah, maybe Doug can Google like because I was curious about the same thing too. Is like how did they come up with the number of $2,000 a day? Like how did they fall on that?
Didn't Michael Jackson make a lot of money by buying people's music like that?
Yeah,
Wasn't he really?
he bought the whole Beatles catalog.
He was really smart with some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where they buy their catalog and then make.
I think they had to actually. I think Paul had to go back and like rebuy like all their old catalog back from like Michael Jackson estate.
Weird.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to this, it's $5,000 a day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Even more than you thought.
That's nuts.
$5,000 a day. To do the math on that. That's crazy.
Wonder if
Well,
he's been
I'm
to
sure
For
P.
what?
Diddy was funded, by somebody
Did
else.
they bring him to a Diddy party?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know the rumor now?
Yeah.
Do you guys know the rumor
That's
now?
why he's hustling so much.
I'll throw this in at the end here. Just know that there's a. You guys see that video of Tupac when he was young? It's made its rounds.
Yeah,
And
he looks really, really gay in it.
super.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely not the Tupac we know.
Yeah.
He's
Where he's
very theater kind of femmy.
But very.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, "Oh no, he was gay, and then he was turned into this character in order to make music." That's the conspiracy. The theory is that him and Diddy had a relationship, and the reason why they battled or wanted to kill each other was because it was like
They're gonna rat each other out or something.
no, because I guess the
There's a
relationship
cat
was sour.
fight, huh?
Yeah, dude.
That's funny.
That would be.
My whole teenage
That
years,
would
all my teenage years
spin
were a lie.
everything. Yeah, like I.
I mean,
knew-
imagine too, because you think they're so gangster. That's what they say. So
You didn't
tough.
call me back. What the fuck?
I'm gonna write a hit 'em up album about you.
I saw you with. I saw
I saw
with
that
Biggie.
you viewed my text message.
Yeah, I saw you with Biggie.
Oh my god, bro! If that was true, that would be really funny. It would be because I mean, think about it. That was like "Hit 'Em Up" was probably one of the hardest rap songs ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that was hard, and so to come from somebody who potentially was
Well, dude, seeing the video
love Coral.
seeing the video of Tupac that when he was younger, it's weird.
Yeah.
Because it's the opposite of how he presented himself.
Yeah.
Like so it just goes to show you how fake some of the stuff
Yeah.
is, right?
Wasn't it like? I mean, there was like that connection there with Will Smith's wife, right? Like in the beginning, where like
Yeah,
he had a relationship with her,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it was kind of like Will Smith got
Why
jealous.
is he still married to her? Will Smith.
Dude, she just
Well,
did a number on
they're
him.
on the open thing, right? That they did forever, right? It
Yeah,
wasn't
but
that their
she's
thing.
just, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah.
I don't
Obviously,
know
that was a
enough about
one-sided open, agreement.
It's open for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm supportive.
Okay.
I'll hold the camera. All right,
Hey,
anyway.
the shout out. Let's talk about the NCI event. So I know that we sold a couple tickets already because we just barely mentioned it, and it's official now, right? So, and by the way, like
Yes.
this is a beginning of what I think could potentially be what we are off air talking about. I was telling you guys about wanting to do this, mind pump experiences thing. I know after the dinner that we had up in Vegas, that was kind of the feedback that we got from the guests that were there. Just like, man, that would be so cool.
They seemed real excited about that idea.
Yeah, if we were to do stuff like that, and I really enjoy that. I really love the intimate, just 5 or 6 people tops.
Well, with this,
where we do something really cool.
Yeah, and with this, what's good about this is that you'll get coaches that, because you're not dealing with 100, 200 people, you've got, 5 or 10 people, we can go in and completely, fundamentally, really positively affect their business.
Yeah.
Look at your whole business, how you present yourself, how you work with people, how you're getting clients.
Well,
how
that's
you're
the
giving-
idea to justify the spend, right? It's like the idea is that not only is it a great experience, but then also that you go back and we fundamentally enhance the business to where you make, exponentially more than the investment in going and doing that. So
That's the idea.
yeah, so you get to they're splitting the groups up, right? So there's 10 total. There's 5 on one day. 5 is 5 and 5, right, Doug?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, it's 5 and 5. So you get 5 people will do the deep dive business stuff. Jason and us will be a part of that on the deep dive. And then there'll be a day where you get a workout, and then we had the chef coming to the house, where we'll do dinner and drinks. And then if you want to opt into a round of golf on the PGA course
With Adam.
no, not with me. Not with me. Yes, I will not be a part of that. Or maybe I'll cart you guys around with Jason, but I'm definitely not playing with Jason because that'll just really piss me
He's
off.
a pro.
Be the caddy.
He's
It's mindpumpnci.com is where you can go and see if you want to sign up.
I'll do mini golf.
Hiya is a vitamin company for children. This is not a gummy candy. This is actually a vitamin with the right amount of doses of key nutrients that children need, but it doesn't have a bunch of sugar or artificial crap. It's a chewable, tastes good, and it's natural. And again, it gives your child the nutrients they need. So go check them out. Go to hiyahealth.com. That's HIYA health.com/mind pump, and you'll get 50% off your first order. All right, back to the show.
Our first caller is Archie from Colorado.
Hi, Archie.
Hello.
Hey guys,
How you doing?
this is so surreal. I've been a long-time listener since day one.
Oh
Like,
wow!
literally.
Oh my God.
I've gone on the journey with you guys, so it's just it's so
Wow.
great to meet you guys.
You're our
in person.
people then for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, you have made a huge impact on my life and like fitness maturity on my journey. I can only say it's all because of you guys. So thank you so much.
Wow, thank you. How
Thank
can we
you.
help you?
Yeah. And also just real fast, Adam, I'm really glad Katrina is okay. I was thinking about you guys and you were in my thoughts. So
Thank you.
really glad to hear it.
Thank you. Doing much better.
Awesome. Okay. So I'll just give you that context and then jump into the question. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Do it.
Beautiful. So I'm a tiny person. I'm 4'11". I weigh on a good day, a well-fed day, 105 pounds. I've been an athlete my whole life. I've been a professional snowboarder. I still instruct snowboarding, mountain biking. I'm like a classic Colorado kid where we do all the outdoor sports, right? So I'm always active. My problem is that I've been lifting for over 20 years consistently, and I love it. And it's been my passion. The problem is I just turned 36 and I'm realizing that like I'm not really connecting with my butt and my abs the same way. Like I am trying all these weird moves, like whether it be a Pilates, twisting and rotation, like all kinds of weird stuff, but I can't seem to get that same pump that I used to. And I'm wondering, okay, do I need to just switch up the stimulus, right? So I was thinking like performance sounded fun because of like multiplanar moves, or do I need to do symmetry because I need to like correct some things? I'm lost and I'm getting really irritated with it. And my wedding is coming up in September and I kind of just want to be like, I guess right now, short-term aesthetics kind of focus, but like long-term, I love longevity and performance as well. So help me out.
You gave such great context. So you used to be able to get a good pump in your core and in your glutes, and now you're finding that it's just not happening like it used to.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been strength training a long time. I'm going to just kind of recap. Strength training a long time, very high level athlete, professional snowboarder means you're a badass. I think symmetry would be perfect for someone like you. I think there's probably some right to left imbalances that you just haven't identified because you've gotten so good at moving. I think that would address some of those things, and it would also give you the aesthetic that you're looking for. Now, I'm assuming because you've been listening to us for so long, you understand like priming, like you could do like a hip thrust before a squat. You probably know the hip flexor deactivator kind of crunch exercises that I've talked about in the past. So I don't necessarily think it is a connection issue, but not in the traditional sense because you are fit and you've been working out for a while. I think when you go unilateral, especially for the glutes, you start to get that stabilization of the hip. You're going to probably activate it differently than you did in the past. And I don't know if have you ever done like a full cycle of that style of training? Most people haven't.
So in my snowboard training days, we did a lot of unilateral stuff, and that's why performance was kind of like piquing my interest at the same time, because I did used to be doing a lot of unilateral, a lot in different planes and everything. But I haven't ever since I stopped competing. I just, and as an instructor, I will train people in that fashion as well. But I haven't gotten back to it. And I didn't know if I was like, if I needed it still, or,
Always.
It's funny you say like hip thrust, because like I like hip thrust. And when I get up in like a bridge on the floor, actually like the inside of one of my knees kind of is like a little tender, and that's never been a thing.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah, there's some imbalances to address. I love this is going to be a great program for you, especially the beginning too. And I was actually going to ask if you've done any extensive work with isometrics, because this is going to be a game changer if not. And even then, like I might even extend you another week or two in phase one just to kind of reinforce that and to I think sometimes because you're so dynamic, you're so active, and you're doing a lot of these movements continuously, to slow down and really focus on the recruitment process, it will really help that connection kind of reestablish, and then also reinforce that with the unilateral training as a follow-up is going to be a great pair with that. But I definitely think that the first phase in particular, you're gonna find a lot of value.
You said the wedding is in September?
Yeah.
So I would love for you to run Symmetry in a bulk too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Ooh.
Good call.
yeah, so
if you're
I
on a
would
pump.
love to pick your brain about this because so I'm a nutritionist. I work as a naturopathic doctor's assistant. So I have a lot of body awareness, and I was so curious if Adam, you had any tips on that, because so the last time I checked, I'm at 22% body fat. And like, I don't have a lot of like room metabolically, I don't think, to lose a lot of weight,
Right.
but I still want to be strong. Like I want freaking muscles. Like I just want to be super strong for as long as possible. So I was kind of wondering, like, can I pick your brain about that? Like, what do you think?
yeah, no, I would love to see you do that. I think you can go. So do you have an idea of where you are calorically right now? Like how many calories you consume daily?
Yes, I'm around 1750.
Okay.
And like with my job and everything like that, I'm always trying to hit my protein targets. I'm kind of a lot like Sal. Like I have a lot of tummy issues. I had SIBO and gut dysbiosis, and I also have celiac. So I eat paleo 90% of the time.
Okay.
So I'm always hitting protein.
That's good.
Whether I'm hitting the target is another, like some days I'm great at it, some days I'm not. So that's where I'm like, I bet you that's probably what you're going to say,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that is going to be my advice. My advice would be to put you on probably about a 200 calorie surplus, 250 calories. Make sure we hit our protein intake as consistently as possible. You already know the foods that bother you and don't. So obviously stay within your wheelhouse of what makes you feel good. And then running Symmetry. I think Symmetry in a small caloric surplus doesn't take a lot. You don't need to go a massive bulk, just a few extra 100 calories. And the goal to get stronger, better connection, better strength, and focus on that.
And you'll probably get leaner. So, there's a couple ways you can get leaner, Archie. One way is to lose like actual body fat. The other way is to build muscle. Mm-hmm. So if you gained a little bit of muscle without gaining any body fat, your body fat percentage goes down, right? Because it's a percentage.
Right.
So with someone like you, oftentimes the right surplus with the right strength training, we see them get leaner by the end of that process. Even though it's a bulk, you see the percentage go down as a result. As far as the gut issues are concerned, have you tested for parasite? Have you tested and treated for that? Okay.
Oh yeah, baby. I've done the whole GI map. I've done the whole protocol with SIBO.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm like a naturopathic student.
Oh, good.
And I'm apprenticing underneath the doctor that I work for.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a very eye-opening experience for me as well. So I had a lot of strep actually in my gut.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as I cleared that out, actually I dropped a lot of excess weight that I didn't know I was holding on to.
Isn't that
and
crazy?
It just went away, and I've like literally thank God for L-glutamine, because my gut feels fortified.
Oh,
now.
that's great.
So,
are you using any peptides so for me, like the game changer? So I did all the protocols, and then using peptides, like it's like I'm a new person. Have you worked with any of them?
So I was curious about that, because you use the BP 157, is that right? That you said was like really great on the gut. And I have autoimmune diseases as celiac and Hashimoto's. So
yes,
I'm very interested in that. I just don't know what route to go.
So
and
listen to the episode with Dr. Tina if you haven't listened to it already.
I did. It was amazing.
Okay, so the combination of BPC 157 with the microdose of a GLP-1 was miracle for me. That's my own personal miracle. Like you can ask the guys. Like I'll eat cheeseburgers now, and that's gluten and dairy.
Scary. Yeah.
And I'm literally like, okay, like nothing's happened. And it was the combination of the two. So and it's a microdose, so it's a really really low dose of the GLP-1. So I'm not getting any appetite suppressing effects really, but I'm just like, And after about 2 or 3 weeks in combination with BPC, it was like, what is going on? My gut has never been like literally in memory, it's never been this good. So just something
That's
to consider.
amazing.
I mean, if you're open to doing that, I think that combined with the slight surplus, combined with symmetry,
Oh, yeah, you're gonna
let's
be on
go.
fire.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'll take any advice you guys give. Like I say, like on my emails, you guys are like my 3 goofy brothers that I've grown up with. And I absolutely trust you with everything. So I will try anything and everything you give me. I have Prime and Prime Pro. I actually have that no BS 6-packs abs. I have aesthetic. I have anabolic. I really, really loved Strong.
Awesome.
That was like a great mental barrier breakthrough.
Awesome.
Like I was really scared to put weight on the bar for a really long time, and Strong like really helped me just like, fuck it, do it, you know?
You're gonna love
it.
Symmetry
Yeah, we'll
then,
send
because
that to you.
Symmetry addresses the isometric portion, the unilateral stuff that Justin was talking about, and then at the end of Symmetry is a traditional kind of 5x5 strength protocol. So it's kind of the combo. Yeah, so you'll really and doing that in a surplus, and if you stack on the peptides, I think you're gonna love.
Oh, it's gonna be fire.
Yeah, I think you're gonna love what you see. I would love to. Are you already in our private forum?
No, I would love to be though.
Okay,
You're in there now.
Yeah,
Let's get
we're gonna
you
set you in. We're gonna put you in there, and then just keep us updated monthly. Just let us know as the process going through it. I'd love to hear your feedback, both with the peptides and the program, what's going on, and then you can use us as a resource in there.
And congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Very cool.
He's a big muscle man as well, so we kind of like cheer each other on in the gym, and it's really great. So I actually met him at the gym, so it's a very weird. Like you normally don't meet people there, but I oogled him for like months. So
You're great.
What part of Colorado are you in?
I'm in Denver.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
nice.
big city.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
so if you guys ever want to come snowboarding with a champ, I'll take care of you.
Where are you riding at if you're in Denver?
love
Where do you
that.
go up to?
So I go everywhere, literally anywhere I want to go. I really love Winter Park. The trees are beautiful there. Crested Butte is amazing. Wolf Creek, which we lovingly call Wolfie here. Telluride is really fun. I grew up in Durango a little bit, so Purgatory. I mean, I've done almost every single.
Telluride has always been on my list, but you named all ones I haven't ridden up there. So I've done Breckenridge and Keystone and Monarch. So I grew up. I was up in Divide. That's where I live.
I'll do some.
Oh, nice.
I'll do some sledding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hold your hot
We can take you
cocoa.
cross country skiing, Sal, and watch you.
That's boring. So boring. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Archie.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. All my love to you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
What a doll.
Great energy.
Yeah, what a doll.
Great
Yeah,
energy.
oh yeah, Symmetry's going to blow her mind. And with the surplus,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, she's going to go into the wedding. Probably, she said she's 22% body fat.
Strong and
She'll
looking
probably,
great.
she'll probably go 20% at the end of it with more muscle. That's going to be great.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear. I hope she stays in touch with us. I love to hear people's updates. I know I say that to quite a few people that we get in the forum. I appreciate that, keeping us up to date as they go through this process. So I hope she lets us know.
Our next caller is Donald from Idaho.
What's up, man?
What's going on, Donald?
How can we help
Hello,
you?
hello.
What's happening?
So, I just got to say this is the second time on, so thank you guys for answering this question again. I'm going to read you guys my email, and then I have a couple of caveats that I have to add because of how long ago I sent this. So it says, "Hey guys, been listening to your show listening to your show has been quite transformative in my life. Growing up, I didn't have the greatest father figures to look up to, and you guys have become something like a mentor to me. When I first started listening, I was 19 and couldn't quite relate when you guys talked about kids. Now I'm 27 with a kid on the way. I have a different outlook on how your conversations are about raising humans. That being said, I've now been a personal trainer for 3 years, and I would like to know if you guys have any tips or advice on how to navigate being a father and a trainer. In essence, I appreciate your advice thus far about being a good parent. However, I would like to know if you guys, or know how you guys have gone about being a father and a trainer. A deep fear of mine is I don't want to mess this up. Now, the caveat is, so we are not having just one kid. We are having twins, a boy and a girl.
Hey.
I am now pursuing becoming a firefighter, so that way my wife can stay home. But I'm doing firefighting, so I can still do personal training on the side.
So the advice would still be the same. And the advice is going to be the same even if you weren't a personal trainer, right? I think being a dad and being a provider for your family, and then also raising kids, my advice would be similar, right? Which is the time that you do have to spend with them, is to be very present. I've seen parents that don't have a lot of time, extremely busy, but incredibly connected to their children, because when they are with their children, they're only with their children. And they have the ability to communicate with them and love them and to give them what they need. And they also have a very supportive partner, right? That's a big piece of this, is having a teammate, a partner, the person you chose to do life with, that really supports you and gets your back, right, through this whole thing. So that's obviously, to me, key. But the real truth is, whether it's 15 minutes, which hopefully it's more than that, or 4 hours a day you get with your child, that you are extremely present when you're doing that. And it's really easy to say that. It's much more difficult to practice that. I mean, I'm guilty of allowing those moments to creep in where, I just got this email or this call real quick. And then a personal goal of mine when I had Max was like, I did not want him to like ever see me on my phone. And I would love to say that I was perfect with that and it never happened, but it absolutely has happened. And it's something that I'm very mindful of doing that. And so if you need to put practices in where when you are playing with your children, and I would recommend this, and I've done this, where I have a 2-story house, I go put my phone in my bedroom, so it's not even there for a temptation, or anybody can't even get a hold of me when I'm with him. And so, and routines with kids, right? So like, even if it's, again, these small little increments of the role that you play in their life, like kids with consistency and routines are huge. So, maybe you're a dad who works long hours, and so you don't get a lot of time with them. When you get home, it's only a little bit around dinner and then bedtime, but you're the one who always bathes them, or you're the one that always reads to them before bed, and they get to feel that consistency from you and feel that connection when you are with them. And so I think that is probably what matters most, more than what people think like they need all these time. Like, I don't have time. I'm working a long shift and I've got, this other side hustle too. Like, how it's impossible. I can't give my kid 4 hours a day. Like, that's understandable. And that happens a lot, but the time you are with them is what's most important.
Donald, how do you feel about having twins? Because you thought you were having one. Now you're like, okay, I'm having two. I mean, you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed, a little stressed out, a little bit, okay, what are we going to do? Like, am I hitting the nail on the head?
Oh, absolutely. So it started off, my wife and I, we were like, hey, we're old enough. We've got finances where we want them. Like, let's try it. A week later, technically week and a half later, she was like, oh shit, I'm pregnant. 2 weeks later, went to get their first ultrasound, and they're like, hey, I'm not allowed to say this just yet, but looks like you're having twins. So I was like, shit, Jesus.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty crazy.
So Arthur Brooks said this to me once, and it was really impactful. He said, and I asked him a similar question. I look up to him quite a bit. And he said, the fact that you're thinking about how to be a better father, the fact that you're asking questions about it already makes you better than 90% of the people that are out there. This the simple fact that you're thinking about this already puts you ahead. So I just want to make you feel better with that. The fact that, okay, a lot of guys don't even think about it. It's like, I'm a dad, here we go. But it sounds like this is something you're really thinking about and trying to take seriously. Second, it is the man, the father, the husband's calling to lead his family. And the most effective leaders don't demand that everybody follows them. It's not a tyrannical thing. If you've ever really been around an effective leader, they're just better than everybody at where you're going. They're just the best person in the group. And what that does is it encourages and invites other people to follow. This is a very high calling for a husband and a father. So what does this mean? That means you have to be the best one in your family. That means you have to be the best one in all aspects of your family so that your family will follow, so that your children will follow, so that your wife will follow. They won't follow you just because you're the guy or just because you make the money. They'll follow you because my dad is impeccable. He's the best person I know when it comes to discipline, when it comes to temperament, when it comes to compassion, when it comes to encouragement, when it comes to hard work. It's a very, very high calling. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because a lot of men, when we hear that, a lot of us are wired to actually get excited over that. Like, I bet I'm telling you that right now, and you're probably feeling motivated that you need to be the best one. So just remind yourself of that, because it's going to be challenging as hell. You got 2 little babies coming. Your wife is going to be challenged like crazy. She's going to fall apart 100%. You're going to have terrible sleep 100%. You have to be the leader. You got to be the best person in all of those situations.
Storm is coming, and you got to be the rock, man.
You are going to be the lighthouse in the storm. And remind yourself of that when the shit hits the fan, because the shit will hit the fan. You're going to go through a really challenging and also joyful and awesome 2 or 3 years. It's not a short period of time. It's a good 2 or 3 year period of time. So just remember that. You have to be the best person. So every time your family levels up, you got to level up again and level up again. And they'll follow you as a result. And your wife will gladly follow your lead, but only if you're leading from the front, not if you're telling everybody to follow. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. That makes a lot of sense.
Good.
So kind of side question, kind of following along with that, because I've heard all three of you share stories of, being a trainer in your early 20s and whatnot, especially you, Sal, saying that you had kids in your early 20s. How would you navigate the work-life balance of,
I didn't.
hey, I'm putting in too many hours, or I'm not putting in enough hours?
Yeah, I didn't. I had a very skewed idea of what that was supposed to look like. And so most of my time was dedicated to work. And that was a mistake. That was definitely a mistake. So work is important. It's very important, but be effective and efficient, and don't escape in work. And a lot of men do this. I did this. When things get hard, I just work more. When things get really hard, I just work even more. And as a result, I wasn't able to develop the relationship with my children, and my marriage ended up suffering quite a bit. So that tends to be the folly with men is we all know the deadbeat lazy person. You don't come across as that. It's I got to work all the time every single day to make myself feel like I'm contributing. That can also be a problem. So it is a balance for sure. Don't get caught up in my worth is the money I make, and that's it.
Yeah, this is always going to be a struggle. Like in the go-to, you just got to check yourself as to whether or not you're just being somewhat avoidant and just paranoid of having to provide, and like that's your entire focus. So to be able to kind of like get ahead of that while scheduling specific hours of productivity, and being really targeted with that, and kind of holding yourself accountable to that. How much you can cram in within those windows. And then also too, if it doesn't make sense, you stretch those windows more, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like your entire job is to provide, is to create that stability in the home. And, there's going to be needs all over the place. Everybody's going to have something they're going to need, from you. And so to just to be able to be flexible in that, that doesn't mean you're failing. That just means that there's new needs that need to be met, and it's a constant sort of sliding scale. So, there may be a deficit there that needs more attention and to address. But really, I think, and this is all stuff that I've messed up, as I was going through and had my own business, and I was trying to just do my best to get us out of the paycheck to paycheck kind of scenario. But I mean, everybody's going to face, whatever storm that looks like for them, just keeping in mind, like, I'm going to try my best to be as effective as I can in these windows of opportunity with work, to be productive and to bring it in, and then take those other times, like Adam was saying earlier, about really hyper focusing on your kids and your wife's needs, and really being there and being present.
Okay. I like that.
All right.
I like that a lot.
I think there's some parallels to how we coach clients. You hear us talk about coaching clients, as I probably would coach a dad through this process too, which is, and just piggybacking more on what Justin said around the being hyper present and consistent with it. And then I think I would tell a dad that's overwhelmed with a lot of stuff going on is to not overcommit yourself, but be good at the small. So I would say, like, let's just commit that you're going to be the one that always reads to them, or let's just commit you're going to be the one that when you're home you change the diapers, or let's just commit that you're going to be responsible for feeding time. Like, I'm going to commit to something small that I know I can be consistent with, because I think consistency matters in kids' lives. And so I'm going to be consistent with that, and I'm going to be hyper present on that. And then, hey, you know what? Looks like I have more free time than that, or I'm getting so good at this, I could add another habit that I do with my kid. And I think having that kind of a mindset towards building your relationship with him. So start small and be consistent and committed and present. And then as you get good, you can start to build on that. And then before you know it, you're going to be doing all kinds of things with them consistently and present. So that's how I would probably coach a dad that has a lot on his plate.
And then lastly, love your wife in an understanding way, because she's going to be going through a lot. You know, having kids really does a lot to a woman, and she's going to look at you for that stability for sure. So love her in an understanding way.
Okay. No, one more thing I just got to say, Adam, you've talked about your relationship with you and Katrina, and how after she gave birth, that there was like a whole new love. I got to say, it's weird. I thought you were just blowing smoke at my ass, but ever since my wife got pregnant, it's like a whole different feel.
Isn't that great?
It's the weirdest thing.
It's amazing.
It is crazy. I loved her before, but it was a different kind of love once she had my child. It would just wait till they come, dude. Wait till they come, and then you see her with them, especially if she's a good mother, which I'm sure you picked a good partner. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. That's a great part about picking a good partner, is that as life gets hard and difficult, the two of you grow together. That's when you know you pick a really good partner. I mean, I just went, recently we just went through the scariest time of our lives, and Katrina and I are right now reaping the benefits of getting through that. Like, it's wild. We're talking to each other like, holy shit, there's like another level of connection that we've built. Unfortunately, I had to go through the scariest week of my life to get there, but it's interesting how you have moments like that in your relationship. And it should bond you and bring you even closer. So it's cool. Enjoy it.
Okay. Well, cool. Thank you, guys. I sincerely appreciate that a ton. Again, like, I've been listening to you guys since I was 19. First found out about you guys when I was in the military, and I was standing on base, standing on post, I guess. And then been listening ever since. So it's been crazy that you guys have been in my life for this long, to the point where I wasn't even thinking about kids, and now here I am, having twins on the way.
That's crazy.
So thank you guys. Thank you for being a part of my life.
Very, very cool, man. Good luck. Good luck. I hope we run into you at one of our live events, man. It'd be great to catch up.
Hey, I would absolutely love that. That'd be so awesome.
All right,
you got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. He's gonna. I mean, I know. I can only imagine. Right, first kid. You're having twins. Oh shit. Okay.
Double the intensity.
And a firefighter, and trying to build a training business at the same time. Yeah, I think it's funny, as I hadn't really thought about that until he was asking the question. I'm like, this is very similar to probably how I would talk to a client. Is to the mistake is to try and overdo it or do too much, and then you're not present.
Everything.
You're frustrated. It's like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be the one.
You end up realizing too. The more kids you have, right? And now I'm realizing this because I have like 4. Right, each time, like the little, like you sweat the little shit less and less. Like with the first kid, everything's like and then each time you're like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. But the whole thing about leading. When you think back to the people that you followed, the men that you want to follow, none of them demanded you follow them. They were just so damn good that you wanted to follow them. They inspired you. It's a very high calling for men.
I mean, to be honest, Sal, that right there, what you said, and the Arthur Brooks thing, which I repeat all the time too, because it was so powerful.
That'll direct you.
Yeah, if the fact that you care about being a better dad, and then the main driver is that you become a great leader. Those qualities, you'll be a good father. Yeah. It'll happen. It'll happen as a byproduct because you're focused on being a good man and leader, and you also care. Like that's the secret sauce.
Our next caller is David from New Jersey.
What's up, David?
Hi, how you doing? It's a little nerve-wracking since, like, I don't know, I've been listening to you guys for probably like a year now or something, and I've listened to not all of them, because I know some of them are deleted, or like the early ones are hard to get, but like I ran through them because I listened to them in like X2 speed. So,
awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks, man. You're a young listener. Cool. How can we help you?
So a little summary. Right now I'm 16. About 2 years ago, when I was 14, around that time, I weighed out about like 180, and at that point, I knew it was that was during COVID times. So that's probably why I went up a lot in weight. So I kind of knew once I hopped on the scale one day and saw it was like 180, and then at that point I realized that I had to change. So I first transferred into 30-minute workout videos, and then from that I kind of got the mentality of being obsessed with like burning more calories. And then my workouts, before I would listen to you, I don't know if I listened to you at that point in time, but around that time, that's when I actually got a membership and started going to the gym. And then my workouts would look something like they were kind of all what's the word? I forgot, but like there was like little to no rest time, and I just kept moving. And then since I had like a burn mentality of calories, I was averaging around like 35 to 45,000 steps a day.
Wow.
And then sometimes I was even I remember because it was the highest point I've reached, that it was like 50,000 steps a day.
Wow,
And those times when I was reaching that point of steps, I was eating only about like 1,400 calories. So but through listening to you guys, I've been able to reverse diet, and right now I'm eating about like 3,900 calories.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm only averaging like about like 10 to 14,000 steps. And yeah, like through that I became healthy. I don't know. I sent pictures, and I don't know if you got them, but I went from at that point when I dropped down to being really skinny when I lost all the weight. You can even see it in my skin or whatever that like I looked like I was deprived of nutrients and stuff. But then once I went the healthier route, I got my hair grew back, and especially now my energy is actually really good, to the point that like a lot of I'm known as like a really energetic kid, and I just have a bunch of energy. And like I've run through your programs. I already run through the yearly anabolic performance aesthetic. After that, I went through split, and right now, after split, right now my plan, I did like a new plan. I'm doing anabolic, and then right now I'm doing power lifts, and I did anabolic. I think I started mid anabolic, but I'm doing power lift, and then after this I'm gonna go into I want your opinion also. I'm doing, I think after I'm gonna do aesthetic and then split, and then all on a bulk, so I don't have too many stress factors. But then I'm gonna go into like I think anabolic on the cut.
It sounds like, David, you're doing really good right now. You learned from what you were doing wrong before, and you're kicking ass right now. Curious to what your question is. Because it sounds like you're doing the right thing.
You just want to know if you want us to let you know if we think you're doing the right thing?
So I have a couple of questions here. One, real quick, I have to say thank you to Adam, but because I got inspired by your kick of going like squat mobility, and I've actually been able to get at the grass now. I'm at the grass, heels staying on the ground.
Nice.
So I mean,
awesome.
But no, one of my questions is so I'm reading it off. So I see other teams incorporating machines into their workouts, making them seem bigger. So I wanted to know if I should do the same by replacing some movements in the programs for machines.
Yeah,
come on, David. Come on.
Necessary.
No, of course not. I think you even know the answer to that.
It's not, I mean, that's later you could play with that, but you're in like the beginning stages of building muscle. You're kicking ass.
So just
that's when you think
focus on strength.
And the programs that you have, follow the programs like they're laid out. They're not going to, you're on the right path.
Exactly. I mean, that's the beauty of you. You've invested in so many of our programs. You don't need to do nothing to those programs. You just follow them programs. You keep running through them, and you're going to address all the things you need to. You don't need to switch or change anything out like that.
You're kicking.
So the layout I have right now for the workouts I want to go for, like from going right now from power lifts, I'm on phase 2, week, I think 4. So after this, running aesthetic, then split, and then going on a cut, but low volume with anabolic is fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Nothing wrong with that. The only advice I would change or add to what you are saying right now is we typically encourage somebody to either run performance or symmetry once a year. Because you just laid out 3 or 4 of our programs that are more bilateral type stuff. That's not a lot of unilateral mobility focus. And you're young, so you can get away with that. But typically, I like to see at least one program of our either symmetry or performance within the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've actually, like when I used to like just work out like little to run hours and not properly, I actually now incorporate like a bunch of mobility. I start every day with like priming and stuff. So thank you for that.
Good,
man.
Nice.
You're doing really good.
You're doing all the good things.
My second question is, if I'm in a period where I have more time as a teenager, especially now that school is like in summertime, is there a way that like if you have more time on your hands, could you do programs such as aesthetic and split that require more time?
Sure.
But like, does that technically give you more gains in a way, even though it might be sacrificing a little bit of time, or it depends on the situation?
No, here's the deal. At your age, you're in this really, really good time to where you probably can handle a lot of volume. Listen to your body. I would not go on any aggressive cuts. You're already at a decent body fat percentage. Try not to get shredded. Just slowly over time continue to build muscle and get stronger. And if you over the summer, you don't have a lot of things going on. You're not going to school, so you could sleep really well if you want. You could take a nap in the middle of the day. You don't have a crazy job or whatever. Like, you could probably do the more volume and take your time in the gym and really enjoy your workouts. And again, stay on the path of feeding your body and getting stronger. At your age, it's just about that. It's just about getting stronger. And what will happen is over time, you're going to develop this incredible physique.
Okay. And another question is, since right now I'm eating at like 3,900 calories, I eat very clean, like almost no heavily, I don't really eat processed foods. So it is a little, bumping my calories up to 3,900, it is a bit hard. And I can see that sometimes I'm like bloated or some cases. And I have the question I'm going to ask, I have a feeling I know the answer, but I have a feeling that I bumped my, like when I went on my reverse diet, I did it too high to the point that like, I feel like if I stopped when I was at like 35 or even less, I would have been fine. But as of now, since I'm at like 3,900, I get bloated a little bit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know if bump, like just in a way, kind of undoing the reverse diet, so dropping down calories.
No, 3,500 would be fine.
Yep.
I'd go back. Yeah, you're totally fine. 3,500 calories, keep getting stronger. You're totally fine.
But my question is like, would that work as in like, because I know that I have a feeling like when I would drop down to 3,500, I would start losing weight. But like, that's the way I want to, because right now I'm trying to go for a bulk.
Yeah.
So
here's the interesting thing with this, right? So there is at some point, obviously eating more calories contributes to more gain, right? Either muscle or body fat, but it contributes to more gain. But it's not infinite, okay? It's not infinite in the sense that, you know, what are you going to go up to 7,000 calories? At some point, it's just really just sending the signal and allowing your body to do the work. At your age, your size, 3,500 calories is perfectly fine.
It is.
It's perfectly fine. You could stay there and you'll probably keep getting stronger and building more muscle. I don't think you need to do, I remember doing this as a kid. I thought it was like, oh, I got to keep pushing the calories. And you end up force feeding yourself feeling like garbage. I think 3,500 calories is a perfect place to sit and just have good workout programming.
Oh, okay. Thank you. My last question is, I've been running MAPS 6-pack for a good amount of time, like over and over. But I want to know if like you stop seeing like progress or whatever once you run it like a number of times without having to before having to take a break.
I mean, eventually, but not at your age. Just keep going, keep getting stronger.
Just keep running the 6-pack program, again and again.
Yep, perfect your form and your technique. Slow your reps down. Try to make each rep feel harder rather than doing more reps, and get really good at connecting to the muscles that you're working.
And a part 2 to that question, is, are those better than because I used to also dabble in with core exercise in a way with like farmer walks and stuff like that. So I wanted to see which one would be a little bit better. I don't know if the 6-pack was outdated.
Yeah. No, they're both good.
You have value from both.
Yeah, they're both good.
If I want to like somehow get a little bit less bloat and then go for the 6-packs, which would be like better for that route?
It won't be it's not the workout. That's more of a diet thing. Mm-hmm. But I think if you go down to about 3,500 calories consistently, I think you'll start to solve that.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you so much.
You got it, man.
Good.
Are there any programs you don't have that you would like? Let me send you something.
I don't think there'd be any other than, because I have powerlift, I have anabolic, I have static performance.
You didn't want muscle mommy?
Do you have symmetry?
No.
All right. Let me send you symmetry.
There you go.
I think so. I would just run that program in between.
Yes,
it's
a great bridge program.
We obviously you're young and probably you may not notice this now, but at one point in your life, you'll start to notice joint pain and achiness. That stuff comes as you get older, and that's why most all of our clients, we would always run them through a symmetry or a performance type program once a year. So it's good for you to have it and practice it and know that, so you know you got it when that does start happening to you at one point.
Bro, I can't wait to see what you're going to look like at 20.
Yeah,
with what you're doing now, you're going to be a machine.
Yeah, you're doing
and
good.
Be patient. Be patient.
That's right.
At your age, your body's still growing and changing. So be patient, but you're setting such an incredible stage for yourself later on to where you're going to build an incredible physique that's going to want to stay that way.
That's right.
Because of what you're teaching your body. So this is great.
Don't burn yourself out.
Here
where you're at now is a good place. Where you were coming from, not so good. That was heading down the path of burning yourself out.
Yep.
Don't burn out. Just be consistent with what you're doing. It is, and I know what it's like being young like that and boy, it feels like it takes forever for the muscle to build and for the physique to change. I know, but you're so young, and this is going to pay off big time when you're in your 20s and 30s. Time. So stay the course, buddy.
I want to say thank you to all three of you. When I lost the weight, I also discovered that I had like a severe case of scoliosis, and that kind of brought me down a little bit because I kept getting told that I wasn't going to be able to work out. But I don't know, like I didn't push through it in a way, but I did it with caution, and they kind of brought me down, but I kept listening to you guys, and now I really want to be a trainer in the future, because sometimes when I've trained friends, it like I get time just passes for me, because it's a nice feeling, because I know how it felt when I changed myself, so I want to change them for the better. So
you're gonna make a great trainer.
Listen to me.
You're gonna make a great trainer.
Listen
buddy.
to me. You're not a typical 16-year-old kid. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Yeah, you're doing really good. And if you ever find yourself feeling a little out of place with other 16-year-olds, it's because you're ahead of them.
Yep.
I'm serious. I'm serious, because you're really. I mean, you've got some great maturity. You're a smart kid. You're doing a good job, and that might make you feel out of place with other 16-year-olds who just want to fuck around. But that's because you're way ahead of everybody. So just remember that.
Stay the course, bro.
And one more thank you again to Adam. You're getting a little bit more thank yous, but especially because your relationship with you and Katrina and how like mature it is, and just the way of communicating. Me and my girlfriend right now, we're kind of like that. Not obviously as good as you guys are, but we always listen to each other and stuff like that. And like I just take motivation from your relationship to make her the member, and I'm pretty sure I know it will.
Nice.
So thanks.
Badass.
Good for you, man.
Very good, man.
Good. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
All right, David.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Good kid.
Yeah, real good kid.
You meet a lot of 16-year-olds, by the way, because I have teenage kids. You start to meet a lot of teenagers. Mm-hmm. Most of them are not like that. Most teenagers are like, "Oh my god,"
they're not thinking about things like that.
No, dude, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean,
if he stays like, imagine at 20, what is he gonna be like? And,
yeah. The hardest part when you're that age, because I remember, is just you want to see the results come faster. It just takes time. Under the iron, man. And your hormones are he's just now reaching that age where the benefits of all that stuff is just starting to kick in.
And I remember I've been working out since I was 14. Like my muscle building stuff didn't really kick in till later. Not at 16. You build muscle.
Mid-20s.
Oh, yeah. And then it starts to really
like 25 when I started to ramp up. Yeah, no, for sure.
Our next caller is Joanne from Washington.
Hi, Joanne. Good
Hi.
morning. How can we help you?
This is crazy. So surreal. Thank you so much for taking my question.
You got it.
Okay, so I'm nervous, so I'm just going to go ahead and get to it and read to it.
All right.
So my question is, I've been on Semaglutide now for about the past 13 weeks, and I want to find out some information on how to transition off. I've really struggled with weight gain and trying to get it off in the past, so I'm very conscientious about this. I was up to the 0.5 milligrams of the semaglutide, but just not able to tolerate it because of the nausea and fatigue. So I went back down to the 0.25. I've got a couple more weeks of that before I'll be off. So just some background. I previously lost 60 pounds the old ways that women do by increasing activity and decreasing my calorie intake. That wasn't sustainable, so I ended up putting 20 pounds back on. I've struggled for the past 8 years to get this weight back off. I started weight training with a personal trainer about 8 years ago to help guide me and prevent injuries as I'm getting older. I have increased my weight training from 1 day a week up to 3 days a week about a year and a half ago. I try to eat at maintenance around 1,700 calories and stop doing cardio and only weight train to gain muscle. However, my muscle really hasn't increased. I use in-body scans at my gym, and my lean body mass seems to be about 59 to 61 pounds. I'm getting older, so my trainer and I have kind of looked at this as a positive that at least I'm not losing muscle. But my biggest challenge is that I can't seem to get my basic calories above 17 to 1,800. So anytime I anytime I'm trying to cut, I can't seem to lose any weight till I get below 1,300. I've tried eating at maintenance, and focusing on the muscle growth. But the scale doesn't budge unless I get those calories down. I'm sorry.
No problem.
So my stats are I'm 54, I'm 5'4", and I'm hovering right about 150 pounds. I really wanted to get the body fat down below 30%, and I just now hit 29. I'm trying to do this for my health. I do prioritize protein. I track my calories. I try to get 8 to 10,000 steps. I'm pretty somewhat active, but I have a really sedentary job. I've listened to you guys, so I kind of think I might know what you'll say, but I really am looking for some good guidance.
Okay.
Yeah, I think now, do you have trouble going above 1,700 while you're on the semaglutide?
Oh, now, while I've been on the semaglutide, I'm down. Sometimes it's hard to actually accurately track because you dish up and count your calories, and I'll start with 1,300, but I would rarely finish a meal. So I'm not exactly sure how low I've gotten, but I was aiming for around 13 to 14.
Okay. So reverse diet. That's what I would go reverse diet, focus on getting stronger. You're not building muscle right now. Likely, it could be the workout programming, although you're working with a trainer. It's likely because your just calories aren't high enough to fuel any more muscle.
That's exactly what's going on right now. You and your trainer are right. Like, at least you're not losing muscle. That's a really good sign. The fact that you're on a GLP-1, you're that low a calorie, the fact that you're hanging on to your lean body mass during that is a good sign and it's positive. But what your body is begging for is a surplus. It's begging for it to be in a caloric surplus so it can then go and build. And I don't care how great your programming is, if you are not fueling it enough, you're not giving it the building blocks to actually build more lean body mass. What you're doing is maintaining, which is a good thing, especially if you're leaning out a little bit. But as we come off of it, and the appetite starts to increase, we really want to make sure that we're building. Now, obviously, number one is making sure you're hitting that protein intake consistently every day. I love when I switch gears with a client like this to also switch the programming. So I don't know what the programming looks like right now, if it's like a traditional MAPS anabolic type of deal. And if it is, then I might move you to like a performance or a MAPS strong or old timey. Like, I like to really change the adaptation of your programming when I'm also switching up your calories. That way, if you overeat on calories a little bit, those extra calories get partitioned over to building muscle and don't get stored as body fat. So that would be my suggestion, is whatever you're following program-wise, was choosing a program that is way different than that one. That'll help while you go back into or get off the GLP-1 and the appetite increases. The other thing, and we just talked about this recently, is I don't know if you've pieced together any maybe bad habits that you had nutritionally before the GLP-1, and the GLP-1 has helped eliminate that or not. For me, I had some little things that I noticed, like example is I've been eating like I was the bodybuilder guy forever. And so, I've trained myself that my portion sizes are double like what the average humans is. And it's like, it's more out of my training my brain of like discipline to eat more than it really is what my body needs. And so one of the things I've connected the dots as I came off the GLP-1 is like, okay, I'm so used to ordering double all this stuff. I'm just going to order what is a normal portion size, see how I feel. And lo and behold, I feel satisfied and I'm fine. I've been force feeding myself for so long. So that's just my example. I don't know if there's things like that you've noticed around yourself behaviorally around food, but that would be something that I'm paying attention to as I come off the GLP-1, because definitely the cravings and appetite are going to come back.
Are you getting your semaglutide from a compound pharmacy, or is the brand name with the preloaded pens?
It's through a compounding pharmacy through my doctor. And when I saw her yesterday, actually, she said she's not going to, she'll write no more prescriptions.
Okay. Well, the reason why I'm asking, I don't know if did you listen to our episode with Dr. Tina?
I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So she has a lot of experience putting people on a lot lower dose. So rather than going from your, however many units you're currently doing once a week to half or a quarter, that's just another strategy that you might employ as you move out of using one of these. And then then when you come out and you do the reverse diet, you should see more strength. You should see more muscle, but do it in a way to where it's structured. So in other words, my appetite's coming back. Don't just go eat whatever. Say, okay, my appetite's starting to feel better. Let me eat more of these healthy foods. Let me develop these kind of healthy habits as I move into this reverse diet. So if you're averaging 1,200 calories a day, I mean, you could bring it up to 1,800 calories and see some nice strength gains from that for sure.
So when I've tried that in the past before doing the semaglutide, I don't feel I work out hard enough. So I'm wondering if that's why I wasn't seeing any strength gains before even trying the semaglutide.
What do you mean you don't feel like you were working out hard enough? So you'll bump your calories and then not see any strength gains.
Correct.
That's your programming then.
Mhm.
That's your workout programming. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you doing traditional strength?
Like?
Yeah. Are you doing traditional strength training, or is it like circuits and stuff?
It's kind of a circuit with my trainer.
Yeah, that's a problem.
We need to change that.
That's why you're not building muscle.
Yeah. No.
Actual strength training.
No. Yeah. In fact, if you're gonna
He's such a good friend too.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Send him this video.
Yeah. No,
he can run a different program. We got it for him.
You're doing cardio with weights.
Listen, and I don't know what this breakup conversation might look like or not, but this is either one. If I'm you, I'm asking my friend / trainer, I want you to take me through this MAPS anabolic program.
Yep.
Or you go hire someone else, or you go do it on your own, because that's what you need. You absolutely.
You're not doing strength training. You're doing cardio,
and that's why you're not seeing results.
Yeah,
that's
100%. Keep spinning your wheels.
Yeah,
otherwise.
you're just burning calories with weights.
Now, let me tell you the exciting part about that news is that this is great.
You're gonna get strong.
That might be just that alone might be a massive fix for you. Like follow MAPS
It's
anabolic.
a huge key that you're gonna find.
The way it's laid out, do not be tempted to shorten the rest periods and to power through it. Follow it the way it's laid out. Rest like you're supposed to. Add weight to the bar.
Traditional strength training, not circuits, not HIIT. Traditional strength training, like a bodybuilder or a strength athlete. That's what you got to do.
And to your point, so the focus of that is to really try to increase intensity while performing the exercise. So increasing the load, really pressing yourself in that aspect, and then resting in between. It's not the overall, once I'm done working out, I feel like I just like destroyed myself, or I can't, it's hard for me to catch my breath, or I'm sore. These are all bad indications of a workout.
Okay.
How much are we? How much? Yeah, how much are we going to hurt this friend's feelings here? How far back do we go?
It's got to be real.
Does your friend?
8 years.
8 years. Oh, wow.
Does your trainer listen to our podcast?
Obviously not.
He kind of is the one that introduced me to you.
Oh, weird.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Well, look, circuit training is not strength training. It just isn't.
And by the way, too, you're definitely not the candidate for that style for where you're at.
Especially with the low calorie. What are you doing?
Yeah. No, it's definitely not.
It's great that you haven't lost muscle. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But you go traditional strength training. You bring your calories up to 1,700. You are going to get stronger. You are going to see sculpt.
Yeah.
You are going to see a faster
so
metabolism.
much clarity going forward.
Yeah.
If you do the opposite of what you're doing.
I mean, she could even get away with like MAPS 15 and do really well.
Let's send. You know what? That's
totally.
Let's send. Okay, I'm going to send you MAPS 15, the advanced version, because I think you could do that one by yourself if you had to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I mean, how much muscle do you think? I'm kind of old, so I'm not sure how much potential I even
think
have.
You'd be surprised.
You could gain 5 pounds of lean body mass easily, which, by the way, will automatically bring your body fat percentage down and speed up your
You
metabolism.
get in the best shape of your life right now at your age. 100%. You 100% can. Yes.
Okay.
And let me tell you, the programming is going to be a big piece to this right here for sure, where you're currently at. So I hope you listen to us. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate everything you guys do, all of the education that you're providing. And I mean, Adam, I just listened to the episode about your wife. I mean, I'm really sorry everything you've had to go through, and
we're doing good. We're doing good now.
Good.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Aren't you glad I asked that question? I knew. I was like, something's not right here.
Yeah, it's not all adding up.
And then she didn't know. Oh, wait a minute.
That was
Let me
very,
guess.
very revealing.
Can I just make an announcement to trainers right now? Stop doing circuits with weights unless you're trying to build endurance, which is fine. Stop it. That's you're not doing strength training.
There's almost never a case for it.
I know.
That's why
you're going to have to fight to present something where it makes sense.
It's just don't call it strength training. It's not.
Well, and how many times did you even get a client who hired you and said, you know what, Sal, I'm looking to get some stamina endurance? How often does a client hire you for that? Never.
Yeah, I know.
Client hires you to build muscle or lose body fat 99% of the time. Like that's literally what they hire you for. So, and circuit training is not good for either one of those. It's just boggles me. And shame on the trainer for like listening to the podcast, but then still doing that. I wonder that might be literally that might just solve all of this.
I guarantee it.
Like just good programming and
put
all
my
this
stamp on that.
By the way, as a trainer, when I was a trainer and I got a client like this who had worked with I was like, oh, I can't wait to train.
I know.
I'm gonna blow your mind so hard.
That's it. The opposite end of that's going to be beautiful.
Now, what we don't know in the defense of the trainer that we're not communicating with, so get his or her back a little bit, is we don't know her tendency to be one of those clients who's just like,
Listen,
I can go now, I can go again, I can go.
That generation,
Right.
that female client in that generation, they grew up in the
Jane
era
Fonda.
where you don't lift weights, you don't do strength training,
Yeah.
and those were always the difficult ones for me. Like, I don't want to rest.
That's what I mean. So that
crazy,
in the
fast-paced
defense of the
music.
trainer, what we may not know is that he or she has been trying to get her to do the right things, and somehow it's still morphed their traditional strength training into a circuit-based training because she's taking
In which
control.
case, I still say this: who's the trainer?
Yeah, I know. I still, but I mean that it's a little more understandable because the part that's confusing to me is like you listen to the show and then you would still recommend that to this client. It's like, what? Come on, what are you doing?
I know. Look, if you love our show, we have a peptide guide. It's free. Teaches you all about peptides, what they do, what they don't do, who they're for, and who they're not for. You can find it at mindpumpfree.com. You can also find all of us on Instagram. Justin is at mindpumpjustin. I'm at mindpumpdestefano. And Adam is at mindpumpadim.